Oh my God.
It was 29-0. It was 29-0. I went to sleep. A lot of your comments are saying we're muted. Yep. It's just you. I can hear you, yes.
I hear you.
I can hear you.
But
How about me?
On your live stream, you can't hear you.
I can hear you, yes. I hear you.
You can.
How about now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I think they can hear me now.
All right.
Well, you didn't miss anything. It was basically just me trolling Jay for losing the Colorado bet.
Fair.
Did you actually give out Colorado minus the points too? Or
I did not. I did not.
Good man. But yeah, someone on Twitter, like I guess no one heard this. Someone on Twitter was the one who actually brought it to my attention. I turned the game off at halftime too. I was just working on this morning stuff. And then someone tweeted at me, "We're still alive." And I was like, "What?" So anyway, Ohio State at Purdue. I put Ohio State minus 17.5. I'm hoping everyone can hear me. I think the comments telling me I'm muted have stopped, so I'm assuming everyone can hear me now. Cutting in and out. I think that's probably from before. But I'm on Ohio State. I know they didn't look pretty last week against Maryland. In fact, I was lucky as hell to get my Ohio State cover last week. But Purdue I think we officially have to chalk Purdue's defense up for next year with Ryan Walters because it's just not showing signs of getting any better. They can't stop the run at all. And I know there's a lot of criticism on Ohio State's run game right now. The Buckeyes haven't been able to run the ball like they have in years past. But Trevion Henderson was hurt. He's back, their star running back. He'll be on the field. I don't think the weather is going to be as bad as we originally expected. But I was on Ohio State with or without the weather. Without the weather, I mean, just gives more opportunities for Hudson Card to drop back and throw picks to my team. So I'm on the Buckeyes here, minus 17.5. Are you back in Hudson Card, Jay?
I am not. I'm not overly in love with this game, but I think what I saw from Ohio State's second half last week, I think is a formula for success for this team moving forward because I thought Maryland was going to win outright at the start of that game. But I like how they settled in. I think they don't even give Purdue a chance in this one. I think Ohio State 3 touchdowns is the play.
I like it. Someone said a Mitch type comment, said a huge day for Purdue. They're honoring Tyler and making a huge announcement about cancer research. That's the kind of stuff Mitch likes to bet on, the emotional impact. Mitch, you betting this one?
I'm not. I don't have a bet in, but I would take Ohio State. I'm with you guys. I do like the emotional side of things, but then again, Boston College seems to get pantsed every year in the red bandana game. So, that kind of stuff doesn't always hold true. I just think what holds true here is like what you guys have alluded to is that Ohio State, the good teams get better as the season goes on. College football, not like NFL where you have this long training camp and then, this preseason and all this other stuff. In college football, it's kind of like, generally, especially the good teams, half the team leaves for the NFL, so it's like you got to kind of get better as the season goes on and come together as a unit. And that's what Ohio State is doing here. Of course, they got a ton of NFL players, but of course, they have a look ahead spot too because they got a lot of big games ahead.
And let's finish it up with Rat Hawk. Are we sweeping Ohio State? I honestly thought I was going to be on an island in this one.
No, the island was saved for me. I liked it a lot better at 20, but I'd still lean towards Purdue. I'm just concerned about the look-ahead spot for Ohio State here with Penn State on deck. This is always a game that seems to give Ohio State some trouble in the past. I mean, I think they've lost 3 of their last 4 trips to West Lafayette, but I'm concerned about Hudson Card throwing the ball to the other team. So wasn't as strong, but like I said, I liked it a lot better at 20, 17.5. I'm only leaning that way.
That graphic is obviously supposed to say plus 17.5. You can blame Prop Beaver for that one. He made those graphics from home this morning. So I hope you were watching, Prop Beaver, and you could see your mistake on the broadcast. But the polls on our side, too. 62% of our viewers are laying the points with Ohio State. Looks like about 25% are taking them. So pretty heavy on the Buckeyes here. A little surprised by that. I thought Purdue, I'm not going to say I thought they were going to be a public dog, but I thought there was going to be action in on them. Guess not. All right, let's move on.
I like the Tide in this one. I like the way that they're starting to come together, and I think they're doing it the old-fashioned way. I think, in today's football, NFL and college football, the fantasy football, the fantasy football generation. We see a lot of emphasis on the forward pass, a lot of things on the flashy offenses and big scoring, but really running the ball and playing defense is how you win football games and how you win championship games and how championship teams are built. While Alabama has the 1 loss under their belt, of course, the coaches have them ahead of Texas anyway, already in the polls, as we predicted they would. And, here come the Tide. It's October football in Tuscaloosa. I think KJ Jefferson has been a disappointment for Arkansas. I don't know if it's him or his supporting cast or Pittman. Anyway, slice it. I like the Tide in this one.
Hold on one sec. I'm muted. Time. I should be back now. I guess every single time we have to switch to a new game, I have to switch the mic over. I don't know. That's never been a thing before, but I guess it's a thing now. So, all right, Mitch.
We blame Ruffalo. We blame Ruffalo whenever we have issues like that. We know there's no Mitch in team, and that's how we do it. We point fingers, assign blame, and it makes us feel better.
I guarantee you, I'm going to forget to switch that mic over at least 4 or 5 times throughout this broadcast here. All right, Rat Hawk. Oh, hold on one sec. Let me erase everyone's picks here. All right. So, are you on Arkansas, Alabama, over under?
Yeah, I'm fully aware that I have to accept blame for everything that happens. Anytime anything breaks, it's on me. I'm going to take the over here. You just look at the head-to-head between these two teams. I mean, the last 7 meetings, we've seen 75, 77, 55, 55, 96. Wouldn't surprise me if Alabama got to this total on their own. I mean, Jalen Milroe's trying to actually play like a competent quarterback that can move the ball down the field. And Arkansas, KJ Jefferson hasn't been at his best, but Arkansas has still been able to put up 20, 22, 31, 31. So I think we got a game that's headed close to, I would say, high 50s, low 60s in this one. So give me the over.
I said over or pass on YouTube. So you know what? I'll just put mine on the board right here. Oh damn! Hold on one sec. Get my pick out here. Game 2. Oh, man, my picks are huge. But, yeah, I said over a pass on this one, too. I don't really understand the point spread. I'm guessing the reason Alabama's laying so many is, like, part of that has to be the history that Alabama just always seems to beat up on Arkansas, even when Arkansas looks pretty strong. But Arkansas just played Ole Miss tough, LSU tough. There's another team in there they played tough. I can't think of it. But, no, it was LSU, Ole Miss. They played 3 good teams tough in a row, so there's no way I'd lay the points to them, but I am aware of the matchup history here, so I'd just say over because KJ Jefferson just finds a way to score points in these rivalry games, but still might get blown out. All right, let's bring up Shedeur Sanders.
I'm laying it here with Bama as well. If this game was in Arkansas, I would grab the points, but Alabama cannot afford to not blow everybody out to to get their season back on track to where they expect to be. I kind of agree with Mitch. Milroe, or whoever said it, Milroe has looked better as the season progressed. And it's kind of my theory that the good teams are going to get better as the season goes along. Everybody jumped off the Bama wagon early, and I think it's a good time to get on. I'm on them right now. I'm on them against KJ Jefferson and crew. This team, they've been, competitive. Not today. I think Bama runs them over, taking Alabama.
Our poll is on Bama, too. It looks like 49% of our viewers are laying the points with Alabama. Only about 25% taking it with Arkansas. Next game, and I'll remember to switch the mic over this time. All right, so I should be good. Audio should be switched over. We got Syracuse at Florida State. Let's start with Rat Hawk on this one. Rat Hawk, what do you think about this? Oh, this game sucks.
Yeah. I think it's a lean for me to Florida State, but I would say Florida State or pass, honestly. This game sucks. I think this of the 12 o'clock games, this one's the one that I'm least excited to bet. Just because I don't know, is this the bottom of the market on Syracuse after back-to-back blowout losses, or is one more in store after that, or after they play Florida State today? Florida State done a good job beating up on teams all season, especially when it comes to hanging points on them. So
what you just said exactly sums up my thoughts on it as well. I said Syracuse or pass, so that's what I'll put up here. But it wouldn't be as bad if they didn't do the exact same thing last season, where they started off, 5-0, 6-0, played Clemson, had them, blew the lead, and then their entire season. Oh man, this slideshow is moving. It's supposed to stop at Syracuse. So yeah, I'm on Syracuse or pass. But yeah, they like I said, their season just fell apart last year, and it looks like the same exact thing's happening again. So. Yeah, that's where I'm going with it. Let's see, Florida State for Chris. All right, Mitch, you got anything in this one?
I like the Noles as well in this one. I just think that, Syracuse, a lot of the same things that we discussed in prior weeks here, just they make too many mistakes. And I think against the good teams on the road, the mistakes really are magnified, because what happens when you have a team like Florida State that has such a big speed advantage, and I know one of their top receivers is out for this game, but it really doesn't matter because everybody on this team runs a 4.3 40. And the thing is that, with the Noles, they score on you fast, you make turnovers, they score on you again fast, and it landslides in a hurry. The whole thing starts running downhill, and before you know it, it's like, 40, like Carolina did, to them. And before you know it, 42 points at the half, and it's all over. So I'm going to roll with the Noles at home.
Yeah, I fell for it. You know what? I fell for it last year, too. I did the same thing. After the Clemson game last year, I bet them in back-to-back weeks, lost. This year, I bet them in the Clemson game, lost. Then I bet them again the week after that, lost. I'm not doing it again. They're going to have to – I'd lean Syracuse just because the numbers is crazy high, but can't do it. All right, Jay. Syracuse bit you a couple weeks, too. You were on with Syracuse with me that week.
I was against Clemson. I thought Clemson was still kind of fraud with Klubnik. I was really hyped about Syracuse that week. I was, since they've shown their true colors. And I'm laying it with Florida State here. Again, this game, kind of like what I said last game. Had this game been at Syracuse plus the points, might have been a good place to be. But on the road, Florida State, this team knows what's at stake, man, at number 4 in the country. I think they're 3 touchdowns better. I could see this one getting out of hand in the second half as well. I'm going to lay it here with Florida State.
So I'm on an island with Syracuse by myself, but I'm not even betting it. So it's not an island I'm proud to be on. 50% of our viewers laying it with Florida State, 28% Syracuse. Can we finally get some good games, man?
There's some good ones today.
Yeah, there is, but they're all later. They're all 3:30 or later. So, all right, in this one, we got Cal at Utah. Let me clear the graphics. What do you know? Another Utah game and another uncertain Cam Rising injury status. Mitch, did you see that Kyle Whittingham actually came out and said, we know whether or not Cam Rising is playing. We're just not telling you. Did you hear that?
Yeah. I also heard that the injury is much worse than they originally reported.
Well, it better be, because he's been a game time decision for a month and a half, Mitch.
Yeah, he came out himself and said it was ACL, PCL, meniscus, like it was
everything.
It was everything.
Everything.
How do you? I don't understand how you're a game time decision a month ago, and then a month later you're still questionable. You think, if logically speaking, if you're a game time decision on September 20th, then October 14th you should be in the game. How are you almost going to play 3-4 weeks ago? It doesn't matter. Doesn't make sense. They're just lying.
Sounds like my handicapper roster over at Pickdawgz. It's like it's always a game time decision. You know? It's like tough coach.
Jay, are you down to bet the Utes even without Cam Rising, or with or without him? I guess.
This one's a pass for me. I don't like. I don't have a dog in this fight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you on that.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't have a dog in this fight.
Chris, Rat Hawk, what do you think?
I'm gonna go under in this one. The Utah Utes defense at home allowing just 8.3 points per game this season. Don't love this Cal offense against that Utah defense either. It's a Cal team that likes to run the football. They're 11th in rushing offense, but they're going up against the 4th ranked rush defense of Utah. I think that Cal might struggle to get into double digits here, and I just don't have a ton of faith in this Utah offense, especially without knowing if Cam Rising's going to go. But again, like you guys said, what else is new? So give me the under here. I think this one struggles to hit 30 points.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put Utah. Oh, it's down to 9.5. So I guess that would confirm that Cam Rising is definitely not playing, because this line was up at 13 earlier. So now I'll take Utah plus that minus 9.5, but it didn't make my ticket. This is another one that I'm just not betting, so I don't want to waste any of your time talking about it.
Watch, you're gonna say that the line dropped. He's not playing. It's like he's taking the opening snap.
Yeah, and then he comes out and he's like looking great, doing sprints, like
doing high knees on the sideline. Like
yep,
doing
that's
like
how it goes.
Stretches. Yep.
College football. Mitch.
Cam Rising lives on the on the old saying, "What would Kawhi do?" Status report. But the thing is that for me, Cal did me dirty last week. I thought that they at least would cover the spread, getting better than a touchdown against Oregon State. So I'm going to do what Jay Briggs does: hold it against them till the day they die. I'm going to take Utah in this one based upon spite alone on Cal. I don't have a bet on this thing. I don't have a pick on it. I don't have anything, but I'm going to bad vibe Cal and make sure that this one's on the Pac-12 network where it belongs.
Yeah,
there's teams, that burn me, and you stay there. One of them coming up soon.
We know. We've heard your Cade Klubnik.
Yeah, I mean, I have a little bit of that too, but in a positive light. Like Patrick Corbin cashed a plus 200 Washington Nationals money line 2 years ago for me, and I still am a fan of his for it. If you come through for me as a plus money dog, you got a fan for life. Jay looks like he's going the opposite. But all right, let's get on to. I'm muted. Got to bring the mic over. We got BYU and TCU, so we still don't even get to a real game yet, because obviously Chandler Morris isn't playing for TCU. I heard he might miss as many as 4 games, I think it is. Backup quarterback's name is Josh Hoover. He came in last week, threw a pick on his first drive and then looked, I guess, okay. I don't even know if I want to say he looked okay, but I guess after he threw the pick on the first drive, he didn't look terrible. He did orchestrate a touchdown drive. But for me, it's Prop Beaver has the Houston Texans here. So, yeah, I'm on BYU. Let me go check Prop Beaver's graphics. He probably sent more in. But, yeah, it's BYU or pass for me. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this one. Jay?
I think getting TCU in a bounce back spot is a pretty good place. I know the quarterback's out, but it's BYU, man. Their defense has been concerning in Big 12 play, and I think that is going to continue to be the case for them moving forward. I'm buying low on TCU. I understand why the line's where it's at. I do think they're the better team, even at the 3-3 record, and I think they win this game by at least a touchdown. I know they had some ugly losses. Colorado's is still probably an ugly loss, especially after last night. And Iowa State on the road is not really a great loss either. But it's college football, and if we've seen anything this week, man, these games can go, bounce anyway. And I think TCU bounces back after 2 straight L's at home.
All right, let's bring Mitch up. I'm just trying to get the graphics fixed here. Mitch, you gonna bet this garbage game?
I'm probably not going to bet it, but I would lean BYU in this thing. BYU always, disrespected by the pollsters, always disrespected by the odds makers, always disrespected. But I mean, what you got here is a bunch of 27-year-old men against a bunch of high school kids. And I think, when you go deeper into the depth chart later in the season is where we definitely showed this. BYU always has the most size in the trenches, but they also are one of the most penalized teams every year. I still think that they're just good enough. I think they just wear TCU down in this one. And, with the BYU schedule coming up, Oklahoma, West Virginia, and Texas, they need this one.
All right. Let's see. Chris, you have a pick for this one?
Yeah, I think it's appropriate he's named Hoover because he flat out sucks. I'm going BYU here. I just, for me, it's just about BYU. They're built to attack the one part of this TCU defense that you can attack, which is the secondary. Keaton Slovis, an experienced quarterback. The offense for BYU has looked good in the last couple weeks. 35 against Cincinnati, 27 on the road against Kansas, 38 on the road against Arkansas. So I think they can do enough to keep this one within the number. I know TCU probably going to go run heavy in this one. Maybe not expect Hoover to do too much, but I still think this is just a case of too many points. I can see this being a 3-point game, so I'm taking BYU in the points.
All right. I never got a poll. I got a poll running on that one, but I never got the graphics loaded. I got them fixed now. So let's go on to some real games that we actually want to talk. I'm muted. Now I'm back. Kansas at Oklahoma.
I should put my earphones into my mic as your backup.
Yeah, I was caught real off guard. It was 10:15, and on Sunday we do the show at 11, so I thought I had 45 more minutes, and then I realized, oh, shit. I got to get everything ready, so I'm a little off guard today. But no doubt, this is definitely a little bit on the square side. I put this one on YouTube last night. I'm on the Jayhawks here. I'm down to lay the 3. Kansas absolutely smoked Oklahoma State last year. And it wasn't Jalen Daniels. He didn't even play in the game. Jason Bean got the start last year. Devin Neal went off. If you don't know who that is, watch a few highlights of his. Very talented running back for Kansas. He had 334 yards from scrimmage last year on Oklahoma State. Yeah, it was back at home where Kansas is much better. Trying to get a run game going like that. He had 234 yards rushing and 110 receiving on Oklahoma State last year. Is he going to be able to do anything close to that on the road in Oklahoma State? No. But I'm not going to look. I think it's kind of a fade spot for both teams. Kansas coming off a really decisive win over UCF. Kansas stock is at a high. Will usually be a good spot to sell out of Kansas and fade them. But it's also a fade spot for Oklahoma State coming off that huge upset on primetime. It was that Friday night. Everyone was watching that. So I think this line's a little bit of an overreaction from that game. I think it should be 4.5, 5. So I'll lay the 3.
Yeah, I'm going to lay the 3 as well. I can't get there with Alan Bowman as my starting quarterback for Oklahoma State. He's a guy that got bounced out of Texas Tech. And I just think that, even though we're going to get Jason Bean here again, we said it before, he is a capable backup. He hasn't, had the best numbers so far. But I think it's also going to be Kansas just trying to run the ball down Oklahoma State's throats here. I think he's going to be able to do that at will. So I'm going to take Kansas by at least a touchdown here.
Someone said in the comments, that's not the real Shedeur.
It should don't.
All right. Jay, are you with us on Kansas?
I am.
You like Kansas. You spoke highly of Kansas last time.
I like Kansas. They're solid. The last time I talked to it, I think it was against Texas, and I think Texas is one of the best teams in the country, and it was a tough place for Kansas. But in this one, I think they are the better team. I think this Oklahoma State team isn't very good. I agree with some of the comments. This is not the same team under Coach Gundy. Man, South Alabama put it to these boys. Iowa State put it to these boys. I think Kansas can replicate some of those same things, man. This is a good Kansas team. And now that they already have that loss on the record, they're probably a little undervalued. They should win this game comfortably. I'm going to lay the points. And I'll go on the road.
You already know Mitch is probably not going to sweep, and he may have switched his pick mid-broadcast to not sweep and take Oklahoma State here.
No, I'm not going to take Oklahoma State. I can't stand Bowman. And I just think that once he starts underperforming, because he's coming off of a big game last week, that I think that, what they generally do here is it doesn't matter what he did and what he's done and who the system is built around. These guys can't just make a decision at quarterback. And as Chris Ruffalo will tell you, if you got three quarterbacks, you have 0 good quarterbacks. And I think that's still the case with Oklahoma State.
Oh, is that a Ruffalo original, that quote? That's a Ruffalo.
Well, it's not original. I think it's a borrowed. I think he borrowed it from me, but that's okay. It's we have a lot.
I'll send you royalties.
Someone in the comments is asking why Spencer Sanders left to be a backup. I believe Mike Gundy insisted that he leave. That's what I read, was that he told Spencer Sanders, we're looking to move on and you should find somewhere to go. No idea if that's factual. I read an article, not that he kicked him out or anything, but I read an article that that's what happened. Who knows?
Generally, those guys that leave that were starters somewhere left for money.
But he's a backup, so it's not like they paid him to go. I mean, you wouldn't pay.
You don't know what his deal is because they're not released. But he might have gotten a sweet deal and just not have won the starting job. But he still gets paid the same.
He's Jackson Dart's backup at Ole Miss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ole Miss is paying because they've been paying for a while, even before. Because when Hugh Freeze was there, they were paying. So I mean, a lot of these schools they've been paying for a long time. So they're just trying to get. It's kind of like the cannabis industry. Like the guys that we knew from way back when, our guys, it's like they're just getting used to the legal system, right? So it's kind of like, it takes a little bit of time to getting it over. It's like, I mean, they're great at what they do, right? I mean, they've done it for so long, but it's like you got to get them over to doing it, the way everybody else is doing it now, which is above the board, which is hard for some people. And I think, for Ole Miss and places like that, they just got to figure it out. But believe me, they've been paying players long before other people were paying players, and they'll continue to pay them well. So my guess is he's probably making a couple million a year.
A couple million to be a backup quarterback in college is crazy. But 68% of our
we
viewers
heard Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams said, I make more money as a quarterback at USC than I would as a number 1 overall draft choice in the NFL draft in my rookie season. That's how much these guys are making. That's how much these guys are making.
All right, let's move on to the next game. You did.
What do you think Hunter Dickinson got paid to go to Kansas?
I don't know, but whatever it was too much. I can assure you that.
I'm sure of that too, but I'm sure they gave him I bet it was about 8 to 10 million.
I thought I was going to say 5 or 6, but
yeah, it's in that range.
Finally, we got some big games here. We got Texas A&M. Aggies are on the road in Knoxville. I believe this line was down to 3, so that's what I'm going to put the poll at. I doubt it moved from 3. Texas A&M +3, Tennessee -3. Public was heavy on Texas A&M here. So if it was to move, I would say you might be able to get Tennessee -2.5 closer to kickoff if you're on the Vol side. And spoilers, I am. I put this one on YouTube, so many of you might already know that. I actually love the Vols here, and I know that I've spoke highly about Texas A&M on this live show a couple times. It's not really a fade of Texas A&M. I just love the spot for Tennessee. They're coming off a bye week, and they're playing Texas A&M. And what has happened to this Texas A&M defense that's supposedly elite, right? I've spoken very highly of the Texas A&M defense, so I'm not shitting on them. But what has happened both times they saw a top 40 offense? Miami absolutely cooked that secondary. And then Alabama with Jalen Milroe, we didn't even know they could do that. Jalen Milroe threw for 315 yards on Texas A&M efficiently. Texas A&M, if you can neutralize the pass rush or at least slow it down, that secondary's beatable. And we know that Tennessee plays much better in Knoxville. Joe Milton, I think it's a prime spot coming off a bye week to really make a statement. A lot of hype on Joe Milton entering the season. Now I feel the pendulum swung the other way. I think he's a little bit of an underdog now. People have kind of, we were wrong about Joe Milton and kind of wrote him off a little bit. So I think this is a perfect spot. I think Tennessee wins comfortably. I think they might win by double digits, seriously. So I'm definitely on Tennessee -3 here. Mitch?
I don't love this game. I originally was on Texas A&M, and I just couldn't get there. I actually had them on my. They're one of the things that everyone writes down the games, right? Then you kind of go back over them, and you go back over them, and you kind of go through them. Texas A&M was on my original sheet, and I was like, I kind of just couldn't get there for a lot of the same reasons that you said, because it's the Vols at home, and once they start rolling downhill, and I'm not sure I trust the quarterback play at Texas A&M enough that they're going to be able to go, shot for shot with them, because I think they are going to turn the ball over, and and I think when that happens, then you have to do double. I'm not saying you can't overcome turnovers. We see it all the time, unless, of course, the turnover happens in double overtime. You threw it directly into the chest of the other team's defensive back, and then they kick a field goal on first down. But the thing is that, what happens generally in this is that, the better teams start to win in October, and you can't afford to make those mistakes. I just see Texas A&M's quarterback making a couple more on the road. If it was in College Station, I'd probably be on the other side. That's how close this one is.
I agree with that. The fact that this game's in Knoxville is hugely influencing my decision. That and the combination of that, and you got Texas A&M coming off an emotional letdown game where, let's face it, Texas A&M has NFL players on their roster. Now that they just picked up, their second loss, it's kind of a lot of those players might be like, all right, well, we're not winning the national championship, and might start looking at the future. I don't know how passionate they are about finishing. Mitch probably tell me I'm wrong about that. But after getting like a heartbreaking season-ending loss as far as playoff hopes, I just think there's so much more energy on the Tennessee side. I really like this one a lot. But I liked a lot recently that I really liked Middle Tennessee last Wednesday night. So that doesn't mean shit. All right, next up we have Rat Hawk. Rat Hawk, where are you at on this one?
I'm going to be on the other side in this one. I'm going to take Texas A&M in the 3. I'm just unfortunately not all the way there with Joe Milton yet. Still wildly inaccurate, trying to throw the ball downfield, 8 for 30 and passes above 20 yards this season. So while you can attack this Texas A&M secondary, I don't know if I trust Milton's Canton to do it. It's going to need a lot of help from the receivers and the yards after the catch to be able to do it. But for me, it's just also about strength of schedule.
Wait, hold on. Let me ask you. You think Jalen Milroe a better thrower than Milton?
Right now, if you said the last 3 weeks, I would say yes.
All right, so a 3-week sample size, maybe I could hear that, but there's no way. I mean, Milton's
no. I'm not saying like from the just skill set wise. Probably no. Milton's got a cannon, but it's just Milroe's been able to use his more effectively as of late. Last 3 games since we've seen him really turn it on.
I can give you that.
But for me, it's just I just see a difference, a big discrepancy in strength of schedule. I mean, Tennessee's games at home, South Carolina, UTSA, a UTSA team is clearly not the same UTSA team from years past. Austin Peay in Virginia, Texas A&M. They played Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, Miami. So I think this is just a stronger schedule for Texas A&M, and they've had some pretty decent defensive numbers. I like Texas A&M on the road here.
It's so funny that people actually I think they really think your name is Rat Hawk in the comments. Rat Hawk's crazy for this one.
It's transitioned to the hockey video too.
It's sticking. It's sticking. We love when they stick. We love it when the good bit sticks.
Last up, we have Shedeur Sanders coming off a rough loss last night. Where are you at, Jay?
I'm with Ruffalo. I'm taking A&M.
We're split.
And this one kind of plays a part in what Mitch said earlier. When a team does me bad, man, they're stuck on the fade list for the rest of the year, and that's where Tennessee is. Due to that loss to Florida, man, but when I break this game down, this is how I see it. I look at Tennessee's schedule and I just question their level of competition. They ain't played no damn body. The best team they played was Florida, who's not even a top 25 team in my opinion, and they lost on the road. I get Florida's a tough place to play, but I mean, that's a game they should have won. When I look at Texas A&M, they're the more battle-tested team. They've played in these tough games, and I think that's going to give them the edge here. Miami, I think, is better than every team Tennessee has played. Auburn, I think, is better than damn near every team Tennessee has played. Arkansas may as well be too, and Alabama definitely. So when it comes to this game, I just think Texas A&M is equipped to go in here and beat Tennessee. Tennessee, I think, is overvalued because they haven't played anybody. And the one time they played them, I get it was on the road, and I get that their home building is a tough place to play, but I don't think this team is that talented. I think Texas A&M is better than every team Tennessee has played, including Florida. I think Texas A&M goes in here and beats them. I'm going to grab the 3, and I'm taking the money line.
I agree that Texas A&M will be their toughest competition they've seen this year. I agree with that. The part I like is not so much that I think Tennessee is so much better than Texas A&M. I just love how they're coming off a bye at home against a Texas A&M team that may be on an emotional letdown. I like the spot for Tennessee a lot. But our poll is heavy on Tennessee. 60% of our viewers are laying the 3, 33% taking it with A&M, 4% over, only 1% under. I was expecting people to come in on the under on that one.
And can we just remember the fact that Florida spot against Tennessee was absolutely terrible. I mean, that Tennessee hadn't won in the Swamp in, 20 years or something like that. They haven't won since, 2003 in Gainesville, so.
Oh, I know. I was all over Florida.
Yeah, no, I think we all were.
Oh, yeah.
That was, they weren't even competitive, though. They weren't even competitive.
No, that was a beatdown.
They got beat down.
They sure did. All right, Mitch. Florida at South Carolina. I asked you where you were at on this game in the group chat, and you never answered me.
Oh, I'm on South Carolina. I can't stand Florida.
Oh, you did answer. You did answer.
I hate their guts, and I hope that there's a lot of bad penalties and cheap calls that go against them as well. I hope it's a heartbreaking loss and one that cements, in their brain forever that they have to talk about how they got screwed over at South Carolina. I don't really care. I really can't stand the Gators or they're a bunch of whiners, man. It's but I don't know. I think South Carolina is just enough losing to the Gators. You get your chances, every so often, these teams that have been on the wrong side of things against another team, and I think you got to take advantage of it. Ethel Mertz on the road, not my friend. I'm taking the Cox, and I think the Cox big.
I am also on South Carolina here. Almost said on the Cox. But yeah, I'm on South Carolina. I don't love how it seems like everyone's on South Carolina. Line drops from 2.5 to 1.5. I don't like that at all. But I don't want to call it a theory. I think Florida's defense is trash, and the numbers don't really show that. But they haven't played. So we saw Kentucky run all over Florida, So we know the run defense can be beat, but there's this idea that Florida's still good at the pass, though. Look at their numbers against the pass. They haven't seen a quarterback yet. They haven't seen a single passing attack. And going on the road at Columbia, Spencer Rattler coming off a bye, I think he might throw for 500 yards in this game. But also South Carolina defensively is such a liability themselves. But their situation is like the opposite. They've played Georgia. They played North Carolina and Drake May. They played, even their easy game was Mississippi State. Will Rogers can throw the ball. South Carolina's defense has seen nothing but talented quarterbacks, and Florida has seen no talented quarterbacks. Florida's tough game was on the road at Utah without Cam Rising. I don't trust the Florida defense, specifically the pass defense in this. I think Spencer Rattler coming off a bye has a huge day. So I'm siding with the public on this one on South Carolina. Let's swing it over to Jay next. Jay, hold on. Jay, right here. There we go. Jay, you making a bet on this one?
I am. I think this game here might sneak my guy into a first-round pick. I'm with you. I think he dots up this Florida defense. I'm taking Spencer Rattler in the South Carolina Gamecocks, man.
First-round pick?
I think he could sneak into the first round.
He has the talent, Mitch. He has the talent.
I think he can. It's crazy to say, but
so where did Dylan Gabriel go then?
They're already projecting him
in the draft.
They're projecting him up there, and I think this may be the game that just gets him there because this one's going to be national televised, and I like a lot what Kyle said. This Florida defense I have concerns about. When you look at their schedule, they haven't played anybody either. Their one game was Tennessee, and granted, they did get it done, but I don't know, man. I still think they're kind of flawed, man. I do. I don't think they're top 25. I think South Carolina can replicate some things on offense that cause this Florida defense some trouble. I'm laying it here with South Carolina.
Are we going to sweep again, Rat Hawk?
We are. I'm going to take South Carolina as well. First off, if Josh Rosen can go in the top 10, Spencer Rattler can go in the first round. But Yeah, for me, I'm with you. It's just I like what you said. South Carolina, they face all these solid quarterbacks, and well, Florida hasn't even faced a solid quarterback in practice. I mean, I can't back Hershey Squirts Mertz on the road. This Florida team has lost 13 of their last 14 road games outright. They're a different team away from the swamp, and I think South Carolina takes advantage. Like I said, they're 3 losses this year, all away from home and against teams in Tennessee, Georgia, and North Carolina that are combined 15-1. So level of competition here, just way, way in favor of South Carolina. I got to go with the Gamecocks here.
Yeah, absolutely. The reason I liked it a little was the quick handicap gave me Florida, because you look at South Carolina's past defensive numbers, and you're like, oh, they're getting lit up. And then you look at the quarterbacks they played and be like, yo, 125 teams in the FBS are getting lit up in those 4 games. So,
or I think a lot of people are gonna just look at the Tennessee game and try to just use that as the barometer. They both play Tennessee. This can give you what you think, but I don't think that's the case. I just don't think that's the case. You can do that in this spot.
We are sweeping. All of us on the Gamecocks. Our poll also on South Carolina. 62% of our viewers are on the Gamecocks. 28% on Florida plus 1.5. Let's move along, and I won't forget the. All right, we're over here, and here it is. I don't think this is the big. Actually, it really might be the biggest game of the day. Honestly, we got Oregon at Washington. Certainly one of the most hyped games of the day. This one's at 3.5 now, so it's moving in the opposite direction of where I want to go with it. I'm taking Oregon plus 3.5. I'll put it up on the screen now. Do I like Bo Nix better than Penix? No. I like Penix. You can scroll back a couple years or back to 2021. You can see me gassing Penix up on Indiana. Like, there's videos of me. I've been on Penix for a while. I like him. But if you just take out the quarterbacks, because, by the way, Bo Nix is probably also a top 5 FBS quarterback, certainly top 10. If you take away the quarterbacks, there's not enough here for me to lay 3.5 with Washington. Are they better than Oregon at some skill sets? Yeah. But overall, Oregon just has the better roster top to bottom, and I really like the transition I've seen from the Oregon pass defense. I am not going to say anything wild, like Oregon's secondary is going to shut Penix down. Of course not. Penix can put the ball anywhere. I know Mitch isn't the biggest fan of him, but Penix can put the ball anywhere. They're going to score, but Oregon's going to come out, run the ball, throw the ball, do whatever they want. Washington defensively, Washington offense you cannot debate. That offense is legitimate. That passing offense is almost unstoppable. But Washington defensively, they haven't seen anyone on offense yet. Oregon's going to be by far the toughest run game they've seen and the toughest pass game they've seen. So I don't know if Oregon punts in this game. I'm expecting a really good offensive performance from Oregon. Jay, I got you up first.
I'm on the Ducks, and I don't think we need the points. I'm taking them straight up. I think they go into Washington and beat this team. I think the Washington hype is getting a little too hype, man. They haven't played anybody. I mean, they haven't played anybody in the scope of what these two teams are, is what I'm trying to say. And I guess you could kind of say that Oregon hasn't either, but when the eye test for me, like when
they played your boys, bro. They played your boys.
They did play Colorado, but Colorado's not in the same breath of these two teams. These are two legitimately top 10 teams. When I look at Oregon, like I've watched both of these two teams, and I just think that Oregon on both sides of the football is the better team. Like their running back, man, he just don't get tackled. And I like what you said. I just don't see Washington creating the stops when it matters most to get Oregon off the field. I think Oregon hasn't even got deep into their bag yet. They haven't needed to. I think they have a lot still left in the tank, man. I think Oregon, what are they currently 8? I think they're still underrated at 8. I'm taking Oregon. I'm taking them straight up on the money line.
Like the Ducks. Let's see if I have No, I don't have that graphic here. I have a graphic you made. It's on YouTube. It shows the defensive rankings, passing and running for all of Washington's opponents so far. And the strongest unit they've seen is, I think it was the Cal rushing attack at 26th. That's the strongest offensive unit Washington has seen. So I'm a believer in the Washington offense, but the Washington defense, you're going to have to prove it to me. All right, Chris, Rat Hawk. Are you with us or against us?
I'm neither. I'm going to take the over here. Like you guys said, I think that this Oregon offense is going to be the best unit that Washington's probably seen all season. My concern is road Bo Nix. Does he rear his ugly head here? But this Washington pass defense is susceptible. I mean, they're 90th in pass defense, so I think Oregon will be able to move the ball. They'll be able to move the ball on the ground. But as good as Oregon's defensive numbers are, they haven't played an offense like Washington's either. I could easily see a 38-35 kind of game here. So I'm going to take the over here. I think we got a offensive clinic in this one.
All right. Last up, Mitch. Mitch loves Washington. I could tell by the way he was talking about them last week that he likes this program for some reason. Probably thinks they generate great tight ends or something. Like probably has a weird take on it like that.
No, they definitely generate a lot of NFL talent, especially in the trenches. But the thing is that, I like Oregon in this game because a lot of the same things that you guys said is that Washington hasn't been punched in the mouth by a real offense yet. And I think Oregon has the speed to do that and to confuse them. I think also Penix hasn't played against a defense that can contain him because he's one of these guys that if you keep him in the pocket, he's less of a threat than he is when he gets outside of the pocket. So if you could take away that running threat from Penix, I mean, he's really a less than average quarterback. I mean, he is just this guy. He's in that most overrated category. If he does win the Heisman, he will be the worst Heisman winner since Danny Werfel. And I'd say that he's in that kind of just overrated category. And I like Washington. I just think that all those Pac-12 teams are underrated for the most part, or either they're underrated or overrated, but they're not. You don't get as true a picture of them because their games are played in the middle of the night, like the Colorado game, which people turned off halfway through the thing. Then half of them are on the Pac-12 network, which nobody gets. And it's, so you don't get to see them as much. But I've seen these teams, and, you gave up 31-24 against Arizona. Was your big test. Good freaking luck against these guys. Road Bo Nix, he's going to win the Heisman today.
Road Bo Nix. I feel like a lot of those poor Bo Nix numbers on the road come from his days at Auburn. And I truly believe there was like a mental thing there, maybe something with his dad being an Auburn legend, because, he would look so good for 3 quarters and then so bad. And then it seems like he just cleared his head out in Oregon. And also he gets to play against Pac-12 defenses. That certainly helps.
Better weed.
Oh, that's what it is. He's got better weed out there. 60% of our viewers taking the 3.5. And that's what scares me is they moved it from 3 to 3.5. When they make the move from 3 to 3.5 in a game that I thought was pretty split. It's almost like odds makers are daring us to take Oregon a little bit, and I don't like that feeling. But I'm still in the Ducks.
We have a nickname for Mitch already. It's Mitchy Pucks. Yep. I probably saw.
I was muted. I told you I was going to forget to do that a couple more times. Next up, Iowa at Wisconsin. Is the weather shitty here? Because I heard it was going to be bad, and then now I'm hearing it might not be that bad. What a horrible game, man. Iowa plus 9.5. Wisconsin minus 9.5. I know the weather was supposed to be shitty in the Ohio State game, and then the total moved back up to 52.5 because apparently it's not going to be that bad. And if that's the case, a lot of these games, there's a lot of people that have made bets today and even tomorrow for the NFL games based on the weather. And that's why I don't do that, because that only has to happen to you once before you never do it again. Where you bet a team, you're like, oh, I'm taking Patriots plus 10. There's no way the Chiefs can throw the ball in the rain. And then you turn on the broadcast and it's gorgeous. You're like, oh, I'm fucked. So yeah, I don't do that. I don't make bets based on the weather. So on this one, I am on the Badgers. would love to tell you to take the under, but it's probably down to about 31 by now. So I'm going to play Wisconsin. This Iowa offense with Deacon Hill at quarterback, since Cade McNamara went down, it's dysfunctional. I mean, there is no passing offense. He's completing, I think it was 32.2% of his passes, 34.2, something like that. That's completion percentage. He's completing under 35% of his passes. They have nothing for this kid. There's no, Kirk Ferentz's son isn't drawing up anything innovative here for this kid. I feel bad for him. He's been thrown into this role in a bad offense with an OC that doesn't know how to help him. I don't think Iowa hits 10. So this game comes down to you. Do you think Wisconsin hits 20? Because if they hit 20, they'll cover this number. Iowa's offense is so bad. So, Mitch, are you with me?
I'm going to take Iowa in this one. I just don't – I think it's too many points to pass up on. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, and I think points are going to be at a premium. Wisconsin hasn't really done anything this season to make me believe that they're anything better than game one when Mordecai couldn't hit a wide-open receiver against Buffalo. I mean, we saw them against Washington State, the best team that they played. They lost. It was not as close as the score. They beat Rutgers last week in a game that I tell you, it could have gone either way. And Purdue, who cares? It's like if Purdue stopped playing, would anybody even notice? I think, if Iowa is like, I think, Iowa has this thing. I think they create some turnovers. I don't trust Mordecai at all.
No, Mordecai's looked bad for sure. And I can't really sell you on the Wisconsin offense. I'm not really a Luke Fickell guy. And it's not that I believe in the Wisconsin offense. I just think Iowa's offense has taken bad to a new level. I don't know if they'll have a first down in this game, for real. I think it's going to be
tight end you.
Tight end you. Sam Laporta at one point last season, it's like through like 6 or 7 weeks, had like 79% of their yards from scrimmage, or so. I'm exaggerating probably, but it was so silly. It was like, how does the tight end have 60% of their yards from scrimmage? But anyway,
T.J. Hawkinson, you got
Noah Fant was my guy.
Kittle.
Noah Fant, too.
Yep.
Don't forget about Noah Fant. Everyone forgot about him because he can't stay healthy. Noah Fant can play, man.
Him and Hawkinson played together.
Yeah.
And, Miami's had great tight ends over the years, but these guys, I think they go toe-to-toe with us.
What about Shedeur Sanders?
I think Iowa's the place to be. I think it's a great place to be. I agree with a lot of what Mitch said, and this is really just a pure fate of Mordecai. And here's why. I'm not a believer in this guy anyway, and I think this is 10 times away the best defense he's seen in his entire career. I really think that. And I could see this guy losing the game his damn self. I don't think he lights up this Iowa defense. I think this is a 10-point game, like total points scored all day. I would probably take the under, and I would take Iowa plus the points. Pure fate of Mordecai, toughest defense he's seen his entire life. I think the defense does enough to keep them in this one.
Yeah, this defense will be a tough matchup for him for sure. Oh, that's Mitch. Let's get Chris up here. All right, Chris. All right, Rat Hawk. Where are you at?
First off, I got to say, as president of the Deacon Hill fan club, you got to be a little bit more supportive.
Are you whoa? Are you joking or are you
kidding.
A fan? Oh my God.
I'm totally kidding. I
was going to say,
I'm
dude,
totally
hop off that bandwagon.
Please, that bandwagon couldn't hold me. Anyways, 37.5% completion percentage. So we're selling them a little bit short here. No, but I'm taking the under here. If you think I was going to score, might as well put a bet on a defensive touchdown, because I think that's the only way they're going to score in this game. I'm going under 34.5 here. I don't know where the points are going to come. If I don't think they will. I don't think any will come from Iowa, to be honest. I think that contract incentive for Brian Ferentz is in trouble, where he has to average 25 points per game.
He's not even close, is he?
Yeah, 21.
Oh, he's closer than I thought.
Yeah, I think.
They won't hit double digits in this one, though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I think that contract incentive is in trouble, but I also don't think Wisconsin's going to have a ton of success against Iowa here. So I could see 17-10, 14-7, something like that. Something really, really ugly. The craziest thing I ever heard, and going back to what you guys were saying about the weather, I was at MGM Grand in the sportsbook, and some guy had that happen where he bet on the under because of the weather and it was sunny, and he goes, "Mother Nature works for Vegas," and I'm like, dude,
Yeah, definitely. Caesars has got Mother Nature on its payroll.
Yeah, there you go.
Our poll slightly leaning Wisconsin. It looks like 43% of our viewers are laying the points with the Badgers, 32% taking it with Iowa, 18% under. So there's a lot of people that agree with the Rat Hawk on this one. Let's move on to the next game. Where's my next game? Let's see what game this was supposed to be. We'll skip to this. Muted. So I'll skip that game. I don't know what it was. I'll check out which one that was supposed to be.
Finally in the good time slot, too.
Kansas State at Texas.
You're still muted.
Hello? Oh my God. I'm back now.
There you go.
All right. So to reiterate what I just said, I don't know why this keeps doing that. So you could look at this as a sell high spot for Texas Tech. Their offense really seems to be coming to life. They've averaged 44 points a game their last couple weeks, starting to look like the Texas Tech offense that we saw in the last couple of years. So I mean, when I first looked at it, I was thinking it's a sell high spot, but I'm thinking this offense might have just figured it out. And Kansas State's defense is bad. I mean, they had Alan Bowman out there making plays on them last week, and Alan Bowman wasn't great for Oklahoma State by any means, but he made a few plays. He made a couple good throws on third down, and Kansas State made it look easy for Alan Bowman on the road in Lubbock with Tyler Shuck. And Texas Tech -1.5. There's just so many people on Kansas State. I thought I was going to be the only one on Kansas State after last week. Turns out everyone thinks Kansas State's going to bounce back, and the line hasn't moved. So, yeah, Texas Tech -1.5 for me. I think you're muted now.
There we go. Sorry. I figured it out. Yeah. I'm going to take the over here. It's like you said, this to me just seems like a game where it's just like, oh, you score a touchdown? Okay, we're going to score one. That's just going to go back and forth. One of those 48-45 kind of games. So give me the over here. I think that's just as simple as I can make it.
All right. Jay. Oh, you actually texted and said you're on Texas Tech in this one.
I am on the Red Raiders here in this one. Here's why. I don't even think this one's that complicated. Kansas State, solid home team. Where have we seen them struggle? On the road. Lost by 80-yard field goal to the Missouri Tigers on the road. That's what it felt like, but still took a loss on the road in that one. Oklahoma State, that's a team I don't think that's that good. We talked about them earlier. They lost there. They've really struggled on the road. What's the strength for this Texas Tech team? Where do they usually show up? At home. And I think that's just what we see here. They beat up on Houston at home, beat up on Tarleton. That's not a huge one, but I think the game we really can take a lot from. I know they lost this game, but I love the way they competed with Oregon. They should have covered that point spread. I'm going to go to my grave saying they should have covered that point spread against Oregon. I think they've improved from what they were at the start of the season. I think they get this one at home, man. We got a weak road team versus a solid home team. I think the home team prevails and gets it done.
All right, Mitch. Where are you at on this one? You on Kansas State?
I'm with Chris on this one. I like the over. I think if Alan Bowman can put points on you, then so can anybody else out there. And I also think Texas Tech has really not shown me anything. I love Kansas State's offense. The hidden ball trick is always one of my favorite plays, and they seem to run it every single play. So I like that, but I think this one it's one of these games that it's like you sit there at halftime, it's 35-35, and you wonder why you didn't have the over. So it's like I'm not going to get stuck in that boat. Alan Bowman, by the way, used to play for Texas Tech. So you got to believe that if they didn't think he was good enough, then what they have now probably is. But yeah, Bowman, he's one of those guys that's kind of transferred his way around college football. He's been around the block a couple times, kind of like my initial social media college football quarterback, first friend I ever had online, which was Chris Todd, who also transferred from Texas Tech.
I have no idea who that is, Mitch. Chris Todd.
Well, he was a quarterback that transferred from Texas Tech to Auburn, and a lot of people know this story. I Facebook friend him. I typed over to him. I said, "You were born to run the spread offense." He typed back, "Yes, I was." Chris is now offline.
You were born to run the spread offense.
Chris is now offline. It was like, thank you.
You were born to run the spread offense. So our poll split even. 43% Kansas State, 43% Texas Tech. So we're pretty split on this one. Let's go to the next game. No, I'm not going to mute myself this time. Auburn at LSU. I felt like my hands were tied. I felt like I had to take Auburn in this one. And I bet it pretty heavy. I didn't go like light on it or anything, but I'm a little scared because that LSU offense can score 21 points in 3 minutes. So I'll just put mine up. So mine is Auburn. Game 13. One second. Oh, whoops, I have to download the graphics for it. But I'm on Auburn. I'm going to go get the graphics. Mitch, you betting this one?
Yes, I'm on Auburn as well. War Eagle. I just think that, to me, LSU, Brian Kelly team's soft as a marshmallow. I think he's going to be a big flop in the SEC overall. I think this was his year to take a big step forward with the Tigers, and I think he doesn't do it. And I think what they're going to find out is that Brian Kelly just isn't a very good big game coach, and he's not a coach that can coach defense. And if you can't have defense in the SEC, you're going to lose a lot of games because you're going to get punched in the mouth. We saw that Auburn could play with the big boys already. I understand that Hugh Freeze hasn't, got to unload the bankroll, but this is a guy, he was fired at Ole Miss for recruiting violations. These are my guys, so he's going to get his players in there.
These
if
are
you're
my
fired
people.
for recruiting, if you're fired for recruiting violations, then you understand the system. You know how to play the game, and I think that it's just a matter of time before he gets his guys in there. He won at Ole Miss. He won at Liberty. He's going to win at Auburn. And I think we're starting to see his team improve because a few weeks ago, you said Auburn was straight ass. And
they are.
Here we are. Oh, I know they are, but they're garbage. But LSU's defense is straight garbage.
I can't believe. Now, obviously, LSU was one of my top. Actually, LSU was the top bet last week. I'm obviously lucky as hell to get that cover, but I was just so shocked with how bad that defense was. And props to Missouri's offense because I think they're a lot better than people realize. But wow, that was alarming.
Luther Burden's our official player of this show. He's our guy.
Yeah, that kid. Wow, that's an NFL player.
He's our guy.
Hopefully he comes through for me today because I'm on Mizzou. Spoiler alert to the next game.
I'm with you.
What about Rat Hawk in this one? Are you muted? Are you muted, Rat Hawk?
No, I'm good. I was just trying to figure out. I was just reflecting on life and how if I could pick any other game to bet on, I'd probably pick it because I don't have anything on this one. I have to take a pass here. Yeah, because I want to take LSU.
No, it's okay. You're scared.
Defense,
everyone gets
I'm
scared.
terrified because I'm terrified because of this defense. And because would it surprise me if LSU crapped the bed and gave up 28 to Auburn and kept them in this game? No. But do I also trust for Auburn's offense? So I'm passed on this one.
All right, let's bring up Jay. What do you think, Jay?
War Eagle. I'm taking Auburn.
All of us on Auburn. Wow.
I just see LSU winning this game by a touchdown. It's going to be back and forth. Like Mitch said, we've seen Auburn compete all year. Are they the most talented team? No. Are they going to win the game? No. But can they compete? Definitely. LSU is going to struggle. Probably go and get it in the end. But getting over 10, I think, is a gift. I'm taking 11.5.
Well, the what gave me a little bit of extra confidence here, because in years past, it's always, Auburn's offense sucks, right? They can't throw the ball. They have a quarterback that's a somewhat decent athlete, but they have no passing game. And that kind of looks like that again this year, but this time they have Peyton Thorne, and I've seen it with my own eyes. I know he is a decently talented thrower of the football. I saw it at Michigan State with my own eyes, him throwing to Jaden Reed. He can throw it. I think this is a perfect game for people to be like, oh shit, yeah, Peyton Thorne, I forgot he's kind of good. This is that game. LSU secondary this year will have that effect on a quarterback. But our ball's pretty split even. It's slightly leading Auburn, 45% taking the points with Auburn, 39% laying them with LSU. Let's move on to the next game, and let me forget not to mute myself. All right, here we are. Missouri at Kentucky. Here's the game. And Rat Hawk, you are up first.
Yeah, I'm taking Missouri all day in this one. I like this Missouri passing offense to bounce back. Kentucky's pass defense 103rd in the country. And you look at the home wins for Kentucky. Sure, they are 5-1. I can't take that away from them. But, you beat Florida, who can't win on the road, Akron, Eastern Kentucky, and Ball State. And the lone road win came against a Vanderbilt team that's one of the worst in the SEC. Missouri went neck and neck, back and forth with LSU that entire game. And it was a lot closer than that final.
They should have won.
They should have. And it was that pick six that made it a double-digit game with a minute to go when they had to air it out. So this Kentucky team just not built to exploit Missouri's weakness, and that's in the secondary. They're 92nd in passing offense. So I think Missouri, they just shut down Kentucky here. And I think Missouri, I don't even think you need the points here. I think Missouri wins this one outright. Yeah,
and with a number like 2.5, even though I was reading an article, this is kind of unrelated, so it'll be 2 seconds, about how with the analytics era of NFL, teams going for 2 a lot more often, that the numbers plus 1.5, plus 2.5 in the NFL have become like they're bigger key numbers than they have been in years past. I don't know if that applies to college. I don't know if it goes the same. I know in college 3 is less of a key number than it is in the NFL. But yeah, 2.5. You want to just take the money line if you have a set of stones on you. Jay, what about you?
I'm on the money line in this one.
Mizzou?
Yes, sir. Kentucky, I agree with Chris, man. They haven't played anybody but Florida. That's a legitimate win. And then their other one was Georgia. Georgia didn't cover anything all year as far as spread wise, and they beat the living hell out of Kentucky. Like Kentucky was never in that game. Only reason I think they're still ranked is to give Georgia a significant win, a legitimate win. I think Mizzou's the better team straight up. This line, I think, is indicative. If Kentucky was really the better team, this line would be 3. It would be 3.5 with them being the home team. It's not. And the public is in love with Kentucky. I don't fade the public, just I'm fading the public often, but I think they got it wrong in this one. I think Mizzou is the better team, and I think they win it straight up too.
I'm on Mizzou as well. Not only do I like Missouri slightly better than Kentucky, although Kentucky's a pretty good team, I also like this matchup. Look, Kentucky can't throw the ball. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened with Devin Leary. Maybe what they're saying about his shoulder not being 100%, maybe that's real. But it is past the point of, okay, he's just off to a slow start. No, he doesn't look good throwing the football. Kentucky's offense leans heavily on the run. Ray Davis, they ripped Florida apart, as we all remember. I was on Florida. I actually think all three of these guys were on Kentucky, and I was on Florida by myself. I'm pretty sure. in that one. But the fact that Kentucky's offense leans on the run is terrible news because stopping the run is Missouri's defensive specialty. LSU showed us what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to score on this Missouri defense. Attack the secondary, go over the top. I mean, Devin Leary hasn't proven to us he can do that. I mean, he hasn't had an efficient passing day yet this season, unless you want to count the games against like Louisiana Tech. So Devin Leary, don't trust him. Georgia showed us what happens when you take away this run game from Kentucky, and that's what Missouri's coming here to do. Are they going to do it as well as Georgia did? Probably not. But Mizzou's defense against the run is pretty solid, and Devin Leary's going to have to make plays through the air, and I just don't see it happening. And by the way, on the other side, Kentucky's got a pretty good run defense. They've been a little weaker against the pass themselves. Brady Cook and our guy, Luther Burden, they should connect for a touchdown or two. So, yeah, Missouri all the way here. Excuse me. Mitch, are we sweeping?
Yeah, I'm in Missouri. Kentucky is a fraud. I mean, there's really not a lot here to this program, and we're starting to see it more and more. You know, they've lost a lot of talent over the years. It's not Kentucky's not like a reload type program, and I think we're just starting to see it. The tougher the schedule gets, the deeper into the season, the closer we get to basketball, the more we usually see Kentucky start to fade away. They normally are a team that starts the season really, really strong and then fades the second half of the season. So they fade, I fade them. Usually a very, very happy relationship for everyone. I'm going to take the Mizzou Tigers number 3 in the last 2 games.
And our poll is heavy on Missouri. 65% of our viewers taking the 2.5, 27% laying with Kentucky. So people here, we're a Missouri program apparently. We're big on Missouri here. Let's go to. Ooh, I almost muted myself again. Let's go to the next game. I need to get that
this sorted by the end of the show.
Well, it'll be sorted by next week. What happened was I redid everything for the NFL show last week, and then I realized that I didn't do it for this one. So, all right, USC at Notre Dame. So let's get a poll running. USC +3, Notre Dame. I'll give you the -2.5 on the poll because you, as of an hour ago, you still could get 2.5s out there. Jay, you betting it? You got to bet this game.
Of course, this is the game I'm most looking forward to today.
Caleb Williams or Sam Hartman?
Yeah, I know it. It's gonna be a hell of a game. I'm going for the plus money. I'm going straight up money line USC. I think Caleb Williams and the company get it done. I know this team has been disappointing the last couple of weeks. You know, they've been on the ropes, against teams they had no business being on the ropes is. And I get it that Sam Hartman and this offense is probably going to have a great day against this USC defense. But I think Caleb Williams is going to do the exact same thing to this Notre Dame defense. Like Notre Dame's defense doesn't scare me as much as many would think. I know we've seen them hold some solid teams down, but I don't think they played a quarterback that is the best in the nation like this USC team. This USC offense is explosive. I think we see them kind of take advantage of Marcus Freeman's defense like nobody else has. I think in the end, USC wins this game straight up on the money line and keeps their playoff hopes alive.
So the graphics I made only have so it says USC +3 under his name, but he's saying USC money line. All right, let's bring up Mitch. Mitch, are you taking Notre Dame here?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think USC is disappointing. I think they are who we thought they were. They're a total fraud. And Lincoln Riley crap ass bullshit defense, which just need to go away. This guy needs to just go away. I mean, you don't have teams that can compete with the big boys. What you have is just this joke thing where you run this, scheme offense that blows up numbers. Great, your guys win Heisman trophies, but you win nothing else. When you play against the good teams, you get your asses kicked all over the place. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of the worst losses that USC takes over the past several years, because I do believe that Notre Dame is just so much more of a physical team than them, and they have the ability to run the football and play some defense. Well, USC has no chance to play any defense. If Colorado lights you up like that and you can't get a pass rush on Shadur Sanders, I mean, Stanford, who had one win all season, they beat Hawaii lost to Sacramento.
Hold on,
State,
that's bullshit,
got
though,
pressure
because
on this guy.
Shedeur Sanders didn't start doing anything in that game until USC was up 40 points and just stopped playing.
Exactly. Like Jake Plummer, the king of garbage time. It's like, I just don't even understand how USC gets these accolades like every single year. Lincoln Riley teams. But it's like when we see them against the good teams, against the physical teams, I felt Notre Dame going into last week's game, even though I had Louisville in last week's game, but I felt if they get past Louisville, they're a playoff team. Notre Dame's not. USC's not a playoff team. They're a joke, man. They go into the playoff, they're going to lose. It's going to be like the TCU Georgia game, man. They're worse against those teams. They are a fraud of jokes, man.
I think
Lincoln Riley is
Louisville
is pathetic, man.
And I think they give Ohio State.
Well, let's look, Jay. Let's look. No chance against Ohio State.
Mitch, what
is
Marcus Freeman showed you to make you lay 3 points? Because I think that's what you're not mentioning. You're laying
he gives
3.
up less than 50 a game because they've look at the schedule they've played.
I know that
they
Louisville
give up
game.
less than 50 points a game.
I know Louisville. I know they look good. You're right. Got beat by Louisville.
Let's.
All right.
I said last week, and I gave that out as one of my top plays of the week was Louisville. That's a tough building there, man, at Papa John's Stadium. It is a way tougher building than people give it credit for. You haven't gone to a game at Papa John's. It's way tougher than the Coliseum. Trust me on that. The Coliseum is a joke. But let's look at Lincoln Riley's career record against good teams. He gets his ass kicked 100% of the time. 100%. He's 0 for 100 against good teams.
This is not I'm on USC +3, but I am most definitely taking the +3 because that's kind of how I feel about this bet. If you want to make a case for Notre Dame taking this game at home, winning it, I can hear you. Maybe they
win
could
easy for the Shillelagh.
Win easy. Okay.
Easy.
Yeah,
Easy.
Notre Dame's defense hasn't seen an offense like this, and Caleb Williams, they could score on anybody. They're going to score. But the thing is,
I strongly disagree.
It's
a system offense. It's a system offense. That's why Lincoln Riley quarterbacks in the NFL suck ass. That's why they suck ass. Baker Mayfield won a Heisman with this guy. It's like it is a bullshit offense. It is a paper champion. Look at when they've played teams with a shred of defense, man. A shred of defense. Arizona had them on the ropes, man. They had them, dead to rights.
I know, but you can't pick holes. You can't pick up. Man. You can't poke holes in the USC schedule without mentioning, and follow it up by being like, "Well, Louisville's really tough." Louisville's about to lose to Pittsburgh today. By the way, they're about to get beat.
They lost to Ohio State. They lost to Ohio. No chance they lose to Pittsburgh, and they lost to Ohio
Pittsburgh's
State on
winning
a
today.
Last-second touchdown. They lost to Ohio State in the last second touchdown. Ohio State against USC, it'd be 68-0.
But here's what Mitch is forgetting. There's a point spread here. If you want to make a case that Notre Dame could win the game, you know what? Control the clock. Defense shows up. Keep Caleb Williams on the sideline. I could see it. I could see a path to that. But
you guys are like way over
they haven't
the moon
shown
with
us.
this
They haven't
Caleb
shown us
Williams,
anything
man.
that they should
He's
be
a
laying 3.
chump.
You're laying a full
chump,
3 here,
man.
Mitch. You're laying a full 3.
Chump.
Mitch, the question is,
you guys are like over the moon. This guy's a chump.
I completely understand your argument about the USC defense. I completely
the whole Lincoln Riley's entire sham. He's a sham.
Years we have
years
of documentation that this.
Jay, please, not again.
You know what?
Now it's going to be like the transfer portal and Shedeur Sanders and Shiloh and the group hug and all this stuff. Going to be wearing the thick gold chains out onto the field. It ain't going to work.
Rat Hawk's going to settle this right now. Rat Hawk, settle this debate.
Join us.
Sorry, I got hypnotized at Papa John's. What? No, I thought Stanford, Colorado was yesterday. Jeez, USC, Notre Dame that brought it out of the two of you. I'm taking the over 60.5 here. I'm not getting in the middle of you guys. I'm not separating this. I'm just going to take the over because we've seen 66 or more points in all of USC's games this season. I think USC will be able to score, but I think that Notre Dame's going to be able to score as well. I think you're going to see vintage Sam Hartman step out of there for Notre Dame today. I expect big plays all over the field today. 38-35, 38-34, something along those lines. So give me the over.
Well, which is it? 38-35 or
68-14.
I'm not giving
68-14.
I'm not Sorry, Kyle. I'm not giving you that satisfaction. That's all I'm saying.
Where does USC? What have they shown you? What is Lincoln Riley's? Where on Lincoln Riley's resume show you that?
Holy shit! I'm not. Yo! I'm not saying USC's any good. I don't think they're a top 10 team.
Where on the
but
resume?
Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman
why are they even ranked in the top 10?
You can't.
Why are they even in the top 10?
You can't just poke holes in one side without making a case for your own. All right, moving on.
Look at his offense. I understand you're arguing about the defenses is correct, but since Oklahoma,
but his offenses have not held up historically against teams that with a whiff of defense,
45 point games. So, I mean,
look who they played. It's Fresno, San Jose State. Yeah. Ooh. Arizona State. Whoa. How about this? Lincoln Riley sucks. How about this? Does Lincoln Riley suck?
Get the penny.
Does Lincoln Riley suck?
You can't zoom in on the 8 ball.
You're muted, Kyle.
I better not tell you now. What the hell does that mean?
All right, now I'm back. UCLA at Oregon State.
Yes, definitely.
Two games left.
He does suck.
And I think I'm on Oregon State as well, but I don't know how this total, it was at 54.5. It's down to 52.5. I don't even care. I don't know how it's so high. I'm all over the under on this one. This is two of the best defenses in the country. UCLA's defense is great this year. On the road at Oregon State, where the Beaver defense, which is a top 10 defense anyway, top 15, but at home in Corvallis, it's definitely a top 10 defense. I think this game's going to be 14-13, 14-10, I should say, because I like Oregon State to cover. So that was shouldn't have said 14-13. Let's say 19. No, I'm not anymore. They were saying that before. I'm not muted right now.
No.
I like Oregon State minus, so I'll say 19-10 Oregon State. I think this goes way under.
I think the first one you had 14-10 is how this one shakes out. I do.
Yeah, but I think Oregon State covers, but my bigger bet is on the under. But I put a half unit on Oregon State.
Is it still not 3.5?
It was about an hour ago. Let me check.
Well, then at 14-10, you still cover.
Yeah, no, but the first thing I said was 14-13.
Oh, okay.
Mitch, what are you doing?
I don't love this game, but I would take Oregon State on a lean. If UCLA won, I wouldn't be shocked either. So it's a lean at best to Oregon State, only because they're home and it's so tough. I would take Oregon State money line at home. That's what I would.
So if this line was 2.5 instead of 3.5, you bet the Beavers. Is that safe to say?
I like Beavers, but the thing is that I think that UCLA is improving. They have a quarterback that's getting better and better and better as he gets experience, and he's going to get better and better and better. He's going to show Caleb Williams what a real quarterback looks like. But the thing is that
the slander.
What the hell is he having against Lincoln Riley? So weird.
Because I've watched the college football playoff when Lincoln Riley teams have been there, and we used to do a show, and we'd always, what the outcome was of Lincoln Riley when Oklahoma would make it to the football playoff? Just go away. Just go away. It's not fun.
You're talking about playing in the college football playoffs, not bum-ass Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame. Comparing apples to oranges here, Mitch.
Because they got there on the poll system or whatever. It wasn't like they swept their way in and were the team to beat in there. It was like they'd gotten there because they'd run up these offensive numbers, which were just a fraud. I mean, he's a fraud, man. He should play Brian Kelly and they should just play flag. I mean, that's the way they should do it.
Rat Hawk, where are you at?
I'm with you on the under. I never thought I'd see the day where a Chip Kelly coach team was actually defense.
I know, that's crazy, right?
But they're playing some solid defense. But I've said before, Corvallis is one of the more underrated, one of the most underappreciated home field advantages in college football. Reser Stadium's no joke, and I think this is going to be a black and blue, hard hitting kind of game. Oregon State, I think, allowing just 7.6 points per game at home. I know they played San Diego State, Utah without their starting quarterback, but it is what it is, and I think this is going to be a slugfest. So give me the under.
Jay, your last pick before we go to your beloved Duke Blue Devils to finish this off.
I like the under with you guys in this one, and a small lane to UCLA. I just think DJU is worth a fade every day. Every week.
He went off against Cal last week, though.
He did play well, so it's regression to the means.
Let me make sure I don't mute my. Last game we got NC State on the road at Duke. As we know, let's get Jay up here first because Jay said that Duke would beat Notre Dame and Ohio State. Is that what he said? That's a bold call. So you have to admit the line here is looking a little suspect at just 3.5 at home.
It is looking a little suspect, and I'm seeing it at 3s pop up as well right now too. So, I just think that I've loved what I've seen from this team thus far this year. I think they could have beat Notre Dame. They had a bye week to get right. They're at home. They're the better team. NC State, they kept it close with Louisville, but other than that, I haven't really liked what I've seen. Notre Dame beat up on them. So I don't really understand the line. I'm not going to try to understand the line. I'm just going to say the books are wrong. Duke's the better team. Riley Leonard and this defense. Get it done at the crib. I'm taking Duke. I'm laying the point.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Where's I must have skipped over the Miami game by accident. I don't know how that was. But, yeah, we'll do the Miami game right after. I had that up before. I don't know where it went. Anyway, so I am on the other side. I think NC State wins outright.
Wow.
So, yeah, 1 second. There's a couple quick reasons here because we want to get to the Miami game. I like this team's playing with the new energy right now, new quarterback, MJ Morris. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I also like the matchup because Duke does have the star quarterback, right, in Riley Leonard. So everyone assumes that they have a bit of an air raid offense, this dangerous passing attack, but that's not really what Duke does. They have a very good rushing attack, and Riley Leonard's a huge part of that. He's a physical runner. NC State can come into your building and take away the run game from you. Have we seen the best version of NC State's defense this season so far? No, but we've seen flashes of it, and they can come into your building and take the run away from you. And Riley Leonard making throws against this NC State defense, I think we're going to see a turnover or two out of him. And like I said, I think NC State's offense is going to surprise us with the new quarterback, with the change of quarterback, MJ Morris. So I think NC State wins this game outright. Let's bring up Mitch.
NC State is straight ass. I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, this team is not a good team, and I don't think either of these teams are great. I think Duke is okay. I think they're good for a Duke team, but they're not next level or whatever. They're okay. But when you look at, NC State's only 2 road games of the season, they played against 2 shitstorms, and they did not cover the spread against either of them. They won at UConn by 10, and then they went into Virginia and won by
That was
3.
Brennan Armstrong, though. This is MJ Morris. There's a new energy with the Wildcat, with the Wolfpack.
I'll tell you what, NC State's been a lousy road team for a very, very long time, and I don't think it changes here. Duke is they're kind of better than they've been, like I said, but they're not a good team, but they're okay. And it's I think that's good enough in this spot. This is a local rivalry game. These schools are very, very close geographically together. I think the Duke, they've been on the business end of this one a few times. I'm going to take Duke.
And Riley Leonard, apparently he's doubtful. I thought he was going to play. I mean, I saw him on the injury report, but based on what I read, I didn't think it was enough to write it down in my notes. So
hard to believe these teams have actually only played 4 times since 2008. That's crazy.
Rat Hawk, are you with them or are you with me?
I'm with nobody here. I'm passing on this one just because I would like to know the status of Riley Leonard. There was word that he may be able to go, but
well, that's right what I'm saying is I didn't even know When I read his name, it seemed like he'll be fine. That's what my brain did when I read it. So
Yeah.
maybe I misunderstood the way it was phrased.
Yeah. Because for me, if Riley Leonard does go, I would be on Duke. But if not, I could see this falling on the number. I could potentially see NC State sneaking it out as well. But yeah, so just a pass for me in this one.
All right, so let's do Miami and close it out. For some reason the graphics didn't get made, but let's just pull up some text. Let's bring Mitch up because he is a Miami guy. Mitch, what should we trust the Hurricanes here? I think it's at 3.5 now.
I absolutely don't. I'd say as a Hurricane fan, we're gonna hope for the best and prepare for the worst. And I think this is a big game for Mario Cristobal after last week's debacle. And I think that what we've seen from Miami coaches when they're tested in this spot is normally the Canes get lit up for a big number in this thing. We've seen North Carolina teams really roll over Miami teams in the past in spots like this. I think the Miami defense is good. I think we'll get pressure on May, but it's like I also think that we could get a bad call against us, and it's just a matter of how we react here. So I'll take Carolina and lay the points. I'm going to be rooting like crazy for Miami. I'll have my jersey on and all kinds of stuff. I'll be swearing at the TV and all that other stuff. But I'm expecting North Carolina to win by 30+.
I am also North Carolina in a very decisive victory. For the same reasons Mitch just said. I like what you said. You texted it to the group chat. You're like, Miami loses to North Carolina and then beats Florida State next week. So I actually could see that. But yeah, I'm on North Carolina.
They don't play Florida State next week. They play them in a few weeks. They play Clemson next
week.
Oh,
you're saying they beat them later in the season?
Yeah, they'll beat them later in the season. I think this is the year that Miami gets past Florida State, takes that jump, and we're starting to see the recruits come in. And in order for Miami to win, they need to draw the fence around Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. They got to just draw the fence around it and say, okay, we know you guys are coming in, but you're not going to get everybody. We're going to get the bulk of the guys from right here. And if they can do that, they can win. Every time they've won championships, every time they've done that. And then they've got a few guys from other places. We talked about that, this morning in our chat as well, with DJ Williams and Reggie Wayne and from Jay's neck of the woods, Jesse Armstead from that Dallas Carter team, the team that won the game in Friday Night Lights. Right. The team that actually won the game in that movie, and their best player, the only guy that ended up not going to jail. But the thing is that, if Miami can win this, well, maybe they are off to the races. But coming into this season, I said I'm realistically optimistic. I don't we don't beat Texas A&M. We're going to the Fiesta Bowl. It's like doesn't work like that for us. For us, it's national championship or nothing. We're pretty much convinced that this year it's nothing. We move on, and it's like this could be one of those bad learning experiences. But I think if Cristobal takes it on the chin here, the heat's gonna get turned up on him. It will.
Chris, Miami, UNC.
I'm going to take Miami in the points in this one. I think just for me, it's all about how does Miami respond after that. And we saw the same thing that Mario Cristobal did in 2018 when he did the same thing with Oregon against Stanford. They didn't take the knee, could have ran out the clock. Stanford got the ball back and won the game for themselves late. And Miami came back the next week and beat a ranked Cal team. I just think with how much Miami went out to get, did to go out and get Cristobal, I think, him admitting that he was wrong and that was the wrong play call, I don't think he lost the locker room at that point. I think, this sort of bands the team together. I think.
Well, I would hope he admitted it. What excuse could he even pull out of his ass? Like,
I'm just saying, how some coaches just shake it off. They're just like, they don't say anything. He came out and said, I screwed up. He took accountability for it. Or other coaches.
I don't think he had a choice. That was just like a blatant mistake. Fair. It's not like one of those that could have been interpreted in different ways. Like,
no, fair. But I'm just saying we've seen it with other coaches in the past where they've kind of
avoid the issue.
It. Yeah. So I think the fact that he took accountability for it in public in a press conference and said, "Hey, this one's on me." I think it kind of sort of bands the team together. They pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and at least make a game of this. So I'm going to take Miami in the points.
Last up to finish the show, Jay, North Carolina, Miami. The U, okay. All right.
Mitch don't want to take his team. I'll take him for him. They're gonna get this one done. They're gonna win outright. You can't lose like that and not bounce back the following week. You can't. You just can't. You just can't do it. I think they bounce back here. North Carolina, I think, is overrated anyway.
I think both these teams are overrated.
I don't think Miami is. I think they just got caught in a bad game, bad situation, and took an L. It happens. I'm expecting the bounce back here. So give me to you.
Someone just put in brackets, old man yells at clouds about USC. All right, everyone, have a great day. Let's win some bets. I'll obviously NFL show tomorrow. Mine's at 11. I believe yours is at 10, guys. Yep. So
Monster
at 10
card next week. So everyone come back next week. Monster card.
Yep. Yeah.
Every week coming forward. Every week going forward. NBA October 24th. Got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you all for watching.
Channels, everything. We'll do crossover. Everything's gonna be nuts.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. So hopefully by the time you see my face tomorrow morning, we'll all have more money in our accounts. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.
Peace.